Hi, I'm Wife Dota. I play Spectres every league. I'm not much of a build video maker, but I've just been sick and tired of Minion related content creators making absolutely terrible, uncreative, garbage builds, advertising them to the community, and then spending years and years and years complaining about the state of minions and the minion survivability and this and that, when in reality the builds are just uncreative and bad. And yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys what I got. So without further ado, 6 mod tier 17 Abomination map. And by the way, I'm not in Trade League. Every piece of gear on my character was farmed or created by myself, including the uniques, of course, farmed by me. I'm in a private league with like 5 or 10 friends. So, all right, here she is, tier 17 Abomination. It's got 6 mods, 5 of which are very dangerous for my character. We've got 183% of Fizz as extra lightning. We've got 45% increased life. We've got action speed can't be slowed, can't be crit, etc. You can see it on the side of the screen. And yeah.
When I'm ready and not before.
Nothing too special here, guys. This is just a formed. I don't remember what mods are on it particularly. I think I'll show you guys on the screen, but yeah, I don't think it was anything too difficult. Just wanted to give you guys kind of a baseline taste of what the build looks like, because obviously if all my other content has lots of mods on it, it's going to be hard for you to kind of compare it to your own. So it's just a formed. I don't think anything crazy.
Another challenger. Life is so brittle. Feel your life drain away. Until next time.
Breaking mass. Inescapable doom.
Energize the spheres.
Consume.
Be gone.
Succumb. Breaking mass. Succumb. Succumb. Utilize. Escape from pain.
For this realm.
Alrighty. I am now going to go over the full build breakdown for you guys. I'm going to show you guys why it's so tanky, why I feel like it's such a strong build, or at least has a lot of really strong mechanics in the build, and you guys are going to get to see, how it all works. So I call this build a ward tank. Ward is the cool new mechanic that it uses, and I feel like it uses it quite well. I'll start by going through all of its defensive layers. So this build has 7 really cool defensive layers that I think just make it feel wonderful to play. So here's my little notepad file, guys, so I don't forget anything. The first is 90% block. So I actually have 88 spell or 88 attack block and 91 spell. Okay, so how does that work, man? How do you have 90 all block? I thought the max you could have for block was 75, 75. Wrong. That's what it used to be, but now you can have up to 90 using a new unique and a new mechanic called Block is Lucky. So I'll go over that in a second. But then after they get through my 90% block, this is where most, especially minion builds, really fall off. They use Bone Offering, they get max block, and then they get hit by a white skeleton in the cemetery map and they fall over like a dog. So the key is block is a great supplementary defensive mechanic, but if block is your only defensive mechanic, your build's going to feel terrible. You're just going to randomly die all over the place. So you need to have a big amount of EHP behind the block, a big pool, a bunch of mitigation, so your build feels good. So that's what we're coming in with here. So I have a 9,000 total pool. What do I mean by total pool? Well, I mean you got to add together my life, my energy shield, and my ward, right? So if you add those together, you get approximately 9,000. Energy shield doesn't really matter as much, but ward life, super big. So I have 5,600 life, 600 ES, and 3,200 ward. Ward is super awesome. And all of you are thinking, wait, I know how ward works. It sucks. But it was just buffed substantially, like giant buffs to ward. I have 3,000 of it, and I also have 5,600 life. That was not possible before. So it's really cool. I'll explain that in a second. So once the 1 in 10 things that does hit me gets through my pool, it also just gets through my block. Then I have a 9,000 pool. But in addition to that 9,000 pool, I also have max res. You're going to notice here, I have 79, 80, 79, which is awesome. Just having that little extra bit of max res actually does so much for my build because that's just 20% less damage taken than if I was to have 75 max res. So awesome there, and it was super low investment. That's the key, guys. Super low investment to get that max res. So I have the 9,000 pool, I have the max res, then I have the new endurance charges. I got 4 of them. Super awesome. They make you take less elemental damage, take less phys damage. Super good. And then past that, I have Stone Stance from Flesh and Stone, which is unbelievably good. I take 20% less damage from things in my little circle around me. And my circle's quite big because I also have the aura on this. I have the Flesh and Stone aura, which makes it bigger. It's just awesome. So I have this nice circle around me where if things are getting really heated, I'm safe in my bubble. I take less damage from that. So 9,000 pool, max res, endurance charges, take less damage from my bubble, and then I have Arctic armor, which I can run because I found the reservation because I could remove Tempest Shield. I'll tell you why I could remove Tempest Shield and still have max spell block. It was quite easy actually. The new nodes are crazy, and the shield's awesome. Then I have Arctic armor. So now, if this hit does come through, or these hits come through, or whatever, chances are I'm probably going to be stunned if it's an actual significant hit that can kill my character. And if I'm stunned, I'm stationary. I could be stationary by choice, but I don't like to do that. I like to move around. And if I'm stationary, Arctic Armor is another awesome defensive layer. It's like 22% less damage taken from Fizz and less damage taken from Fire while you're stationary, and it gives them a guaranteed 30% chill for right after, so their chance of hitting you again after is so much smaller. Another awesome defensive layer. Then, huge, I'm a minion build, and my minions have taunt. So when you taunt something, not only does it make them attack your minions if they're tauntable, but also what taunt is really good at doing is if you've taunted an enemy, they actually do 10% less damage with all stuff to untaunted enemy, or to the to the unit that didn't taunt them. So basically, when my specters are beating things up, I'm not. They're taunting them. And if I get hit by some stray AoE, some projectile, some whatever, all the stuff you get hit by in PoE, it actually does 10% less damage because my minions have taunted the character. Or the enemy, sorry. So that's amazing already. So I've got a giant pool, I've got max res, I've got endurance charges, I've got stone stance, I've got arctic armor, and I've got taunt, which is awesome. And that's not including flasks and all that kinds of stuff. Now, that's the defense. I'll go over the items and tree to show you where I get all that, but that's the stuff. So first, Darkseer. I'm using this out of necessity. not because I want to be. I would love to have a +2 minion wand. 4-socket resonators are very hard to get in a non-trade league. I am not in trade league. So when you look through my gear, be like, man, I could buy something better for 10 chaos. Not in my league. My league's got a private league with some friends. I got like 10 people in here. Okay. I farmed this from Lycia myself. So I used it because it was the best thing I could find. It has a lot of life, obviously. It's about 200 life. So that's nice. And it's +2. So that's great too. Wraithlord, everyone knows what that does. Gives me lots of specters, means I can't use non-specter minions. I'm not going to make this a super beginner guide, so if you guys need a little bit more help with some of the uniques, you have to look it up yourself. Okay, I'm not even going to show you my amulet yet. I'll show you the shield. The shield is amazing. It's why I have 91 block. Block is lucky is crazy. So this basically lowers my max block chance. So because I have max block on the tree, which you can get so easily now, I'll show you. I actually have 80 block chance. My block gets reduced to 70, but then with lucky, that maths out to be 91. So I have 91% chance to block. So that's what I was talking about above there, where I said, hey, like 90% chance, things are just not hitting me in the first place. And then I'm a minion build, so things are really not hitting me. And that's where ward becomes amazing. So remember that. Remember, first they have to like not be hitting my minions, then they have to hit me, and then they only have a 1 in 10 chance of actually hitting me, and then all of those defensive layers come in. And that's why ward's so amazing for this build. Because if you're constantly getting attacked, ward does nothing, right? You get hit by a small rock, your whole 3000 ward goes down instantly. You want to be using the whole pool of ward. You want to be getting hit not very often, and when you do get hit, you want it to be like a threatening hit, right? Which is how my build works. Obviously, if it's a not threatening hit, who cares? I survive anyway. But if it is a threatening hit, I have that big juicy pool in there to survive. All right, amulet. Mine's absolutely terrible, guys. I'm sorry you even have to look at this, but I couldn't really make a better one. Amulets are really hard to make. The rest of my gear is quite nice, so don't worry about that. But my amulets are really hard to make. And I needed chaos res, I needed attributes, and this is the best thing I could really put together on short notice. So here it is. And the anoint gives me a bonus to the endurance charges. I'll go over my specters later and explain what I would do if I was in trade league, but this is where we are for now. Bone ring. I got a great ring. Res, life, minion damage, move speed. Awesome. Another one. I got a great one. This one's just life, minion damage. Good stuff. These are fine. They're great. They get the job done. Gloves. I got ward gloves. It's super easy to get amazing ones by just using the league mechanic to ship to Calgar. I got these. They're friggin' awesome. They have dex. I need dex. Super great. They have some ward. Awesome. But mostly life resists, minion damage, dex. Body armor. I made this yesterday. You guys have no idea how much currency it took me to finally make a decent body armor for this build, but finally it happened. Huge armor, huge evasion, which translates into ward because of my unique belt that you'll see in a second. Huge life, tier 1. And I don't have an Exalt Orb left to put the last suffix on it, but it is what it is. I will exalt it as soon as I have one. I know it's missing a suffix. And then obviously I have Fizz taken as, because I want to have good Fizz hit. It's really hard to get good Fizz hit, and in softcore you can kind of ignore it. You know, a lot of people ignore it to some extent, to a fault, but decent Fizz hit's very nice to have. And Flesh and Stone area effect. Here's the belt that puts it all together. This is why I have 3,200 ward. Half of the armor and evasion rating combined that you just saw on that body armor gets converted to ward. So it's got almost 6,000 total, so I get 3,000 ward. That's how it works. Super amazing. And remember, guys, ward is so buffed. Ward comes back every 2 seconds now, so it's just unbelievably strong. As long as I'm not taking some giant hit where I require my whole 9,000 health pool every 2 seconds, which is very unlikely, I'm going to have it ready, and it's going to be awesome. So very exciting. Love this the new mechanics are just awesome this league. And then boots, life, move speed, resists, and chaos res, very awesome. A chance to avoid bleeding, because bleeding is the bane of my build. Really hurts when I get bled. Doesn't happen often, but I got almost 100% chance to avoid bleeding on this build, I think. I got a jewel somewhere as well. That's the gear. Let's go over to the POB so I can show you the skills and talk a little bit about some selections you're gonna have to make. And then that's all. That's really all there is to it, guys. Alrighty. To the Bob. Big tanky number. A lot of that, of course, is attributed to block. But who cares? As long as you have big max hits behind it, and these are pretty big for softcore, right? You're in good shape. This build feels hella tanky. You guys saw. I sent the clips. I will farm more Uber fragments and do more Ubers. I've done an X-Arc as well. I did die once in the ball phase. It's really hard to do with minions because your minions pop them. But that's done. I'll get more videos out to show you guys more stuff if you don't believe me or whatever. But I thought I'd put a good selection of clips together. So all this max hit is only used, you know, when I need it, when things get through my block, when they're not targeting my minions, all that. Skills. Haste. The Path of Building Warriors are going to come in here, switch it to Zealotry, slap on Generosity, and be like, man, this guy's a big noob, bro. He's missing like 20% damage. But there's a reason they suck. The reason they suck is because mobility is how you stay alive in Path of Exile. If your character moves slow, you're going to be in every dot for longer. It's going to take you longer to dodge every slam. It's going to take you longer to do everything, and your character's going to suck. Tell me, the last time you went onto Ben's stream and you saw him playing a slow build, just crawling around like an idiot. Never. Uber Dan. Is his character just moving around 30% MS, just walking? No. You gotta have a fast build. I have Onslaught because of my Spectre. I have Haste. I have 30 move speed boots. I'm flying, okay? Best you can do on a minion build, barring I could do phase run and that stuff, but I shield charge around. Feels great. Because I have minion attack speed affects me, so I'm really going. Alrighty. Clarity on Arrogance. This gets me an additional 1 max res. I am using the Mastery to get more max res, because max res scales so much better the more of it you get. Like, think of it, if you could go from 98 to 99, that would be like half, 50% more mitigation. So that's what I'm doing for that, and I do need the Clarity just in case I overcast some of my stuff and I don't have enough left to whatever. Curse, it's really good. Frostbite, great damage. Bone Offering gets me the block. Arctic Armor, I already talked about it. Big hits stun you. Things that are dangerous stun you, so you'll stop moving. Or sometimes you just stop moving. I don't know, like bad things happen. You get stuck up against a wall, whatever. And I need Fizz mitigation, so this is just awesome. And it's a cheap aura, whatever. Take your 25% and you're happy. So I love it. It's a personal thing. If you'd like something else, go for it. There's tons of options you can fit in. If you want to get more reservation, the build can. I didn't even take these two. I went this route. You can take these two, and you can fit in a 50%er if you want. There wasn't really a 50%er that appealed to me too hard, and I needed a little bit more than that mitigation or that reservation I showed you there to have one, so I didn't do it. I might do it later if I get a better amulet and anoint something better, but we'll see. Support Spectres. I have 2 Support Spectres. I have 6 Carry Spectres. My 2 Support Spectres right now are Perfect Forest Warrior. He gives me Onslaught and Calling Strike. And Crush Claw, he gets in there, bro. He's nasty. Okay, he gets in there, tanks everything, wonderful, and he makes my guys do... he makes the enemies take 20% increased cold damage. So that's nice too. I would replace him with a Perfect Warlord, which would give me endurance charges, which would allow me to change my anoint if I could. But I couldn't find a Perfect Warlord. It's so hard in a non-trade league to find these Spectres, guys. I've been farming Ritual till my eyeballs fall out, and I just can't find one. When I get one, I'll probably make that switch. So those are my support Spectres. I have Elemental Army for inflicting whatever it's called, exposure, feeding frenzy, so I get the buff, minion life so they don't die. Even though I switch minion life for boss fights because they really never die. This is an overabundance of precaution. I switch it for Flame Dash, so I have an instant move skill for Ubers, which you saw if you watched the Uber Eater part. Talked about Flesh and Stone. Convocation, obviously I need it to pull the boys in. Shield Charge, because I like to move. Desecrate for using Bone Offering. Here's my main damage link. My Spectres, obviously level 21, so I can get the additional Spectre. Cold Pen, I really wish I had Awakened, but couldn't get one. Greater Volley. The Spectre Shotgun. Every single projectile shotguns. It's a mortar. That's why I have it edited in the config, as will everybody. They're Forged Frostbearers. So you can look that up wherever you want. That's how it works. So Greater Volley is insane. Always have it. You could even have Greater Volley and Regular Volley, and it's actually more damage efficient than some setups. I don't like it as much personally, but I'm not too convinced that the AoE is big on the edges and hits just the middle, so whatever. Awaken Control Destruction. I would actually like to be critting, but I got Awaken Control Destruction, and it worked really well. I think I need way better gear to crit, because I'd also need to fit in Assassin's Mark. Maybe when I get my Warlord, I'll switch my Anoint and have 2 curses, but for now, Awaken Control Destruction feels great. It's also got Unnerve. Awaken Minion Damage. I switched this out actually for boss fights. I put in Predator, because this makes them 25% less max life. So you just switch to Predator, gaining great EHP on your guys there. If there's a dangerous fight, like Uber Maven's very dangerous because they can't heal, so you really want to keep them topped off, and the fireballs do tons. Cyrus, same deal. So I switched this for Predator, and it makes their AI way better. AI is so trash without Predator on, to be honest. So again, make adjustments to your build when you're doing content. Very important. Spell Echo. Of course, I'd love to have Awakened. Haven't got it. It's just great damage. And guys, honestly, that's kind of the build. It's not rocket science, but it uses a lot of really cool mechanics, and it's creative and fun, which I think a lot of Minion players are really just not doing a lot of creative stuff, or at least using a lot of new mechanics. I can't really find too many people making any videos using any new mechanics. It's really just the same old garbage over and over again. So here it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have questions, I will answer them all in the comments of the video. I'll also put some stuff in the description to help you guys out, the POB and all that. But overall, yeah, Forged Frostbearers, Crush Claw, whatever support specters you want. Lots of defensive layers, good mobility, and the awesome ward belt, man. The ward belt's the star of the whole show, guys. This thing's amazing. You get this, you make a giant body armor, and you just have this huge ward pool. And as long as you're using the shield, which is the other star of the show, and you have this amazing block, and you're playing a build that doesn't get hit very often for whatever reason, mine's a minion build, that's why. It just feels amazing. Like you just feel absolutely just completely awesome. I'm loving it. Hope you will too. Yeah, hello. Sorry, I forgot to go over the tree. Just re-recording this here. Yep, I get the max res from these things here, along with this wheel here, which I discussed earlier. So that's my max res. I get my max block from this, which gives you 3% max block just for the node and 10 blocks. So good. And then I also get the 2% from the mastery, which brings me to 80 regularly, but then 91 because of the lucky, because of the shield. The shield reduces you to 70 and then gives you lucky. So that's how I get that. Standard minion damage cluster jewel here. I got super lucky crafting this one. I don't even use the ES, but it does have tier 1 ES on it, which is crazy. But I know these aren't too expensive in trade or anything, but super hard to get in a guild found league. And yeah, I use Dread March here because it makes my minions have Chaos Res and physical damage mitigation. The Chaos Res is really important. Normally I take this, but my minions with this build are quite tanky, so I don't have to. If I had any zombies or Animate Guardian or whatever, I'd probably be taking this wheel, or this wheel. But we're going with this for now. And then yeah, the rest of it's pretty standard minion stuff, which you'll be able to see in the pub. Alright, thank you so much for watching.